Hello and welcome to Bella's Crafty Cards. I'm Bella and today I'm just going to go through a card that I've made. I'll show you the cards. And there we go. They actually open up like that. Now I've had a lot of questions about these cards and how I make them, so this is just going to be a pretty quick tutorial on how I made these cards. So let's get started. Okay, first things first, I'm going to tell you the dies I'm going to use. I'm going to use, I think this one's called the Tulips die from Spellbinders, and I will also be using Spellbinders foliage and Spellbinders new Bitty Blossoms to make my flowers. So I'll just put these to one side. Okay, so first things first. Now I only have a Cuttlebug, but if you have a Grand Caliber, you use the same principle as you do on this as you would on your Grand Caliber, and it will work without a doubt. Okay, I'm using here a 5x5 inch square, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to get my die and I'm going to lay the cutting edge down onto the back of the card. Okay, and I'm going to position it so the die nearest the inside of my card is quite close, but not on the line, because don't forget it's going to cut it. Okay, and I'm going to make sure it's sort of level, and then you're going to tape it down with your low tack tape. Now I'm actually using sellotape that I've been using for oh gosh knows how many cards, which has now become low tack. So once you have your die in place where you want it, you're then going to bring in your scoreboard. Okay, and what you're going to do is get your scoring tool. Where's mine disappeared to? There he is. Okay, and you're going to line up the centre of your die, trying to keep it level with an edge. Okay, so the centre of your die, and you're just going to score like that. Okay, once you've scored that with the scoreboard, I'll turn it over. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can see I've got two little score marks there where I've scored it. You're now going to bring in your Cuttlebug. Okay, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to have your A plate, your B plate. You're going to place your cardstock in with your die on it, with the cut side facing to your B plate, and the two score lines you've done, you're going to line up with the end, put this down a little bit just in case, to the end of the cutting plate. And then you're going to place your C plate on top of that. Again, make sure that it's all on that edge. So you've got this piece overhanging, and then you're going to run that through the machine. Back through. Okay, so now if we turn it over, you can actually see we've only got 1/2 of the die that's been cut, which is what we want. So now what you're going to do is you're going to emboss it. So with mine, I need my A plate, my B plate, I need 2 tanned mats, and again I'm going to place my die facing downwards with a cutting edge into the rubber mats, and I'm going to need a B plate, and I'm going to run that through. Oops. Like so. I'll move the bug out of the way. I do love my bug. So now if we turn it back over, don't know if you can see it on camera, but this side is all nice and neatly embossed, and this side's been cut. So before we take the die off, we're going to go over it with our ink, okay? Now, when you're doing this, you're going to have to be really, really careful. I'm actually using Distress Ink's Worn Lipstick. And what you need to do is you're going to go inside of the shape. Try not to go outside, because otherwise that is going to be on your card. Okay? So I'm just going to slowly do this. I try not to ink my blending tool up while I'm doing this process until I really, really have to, because I don't want it to ruin my card by going over. And when I do, I just ink up the edge that I'm using. Okay, last little bit here. Rotating my card. Okay, once I think, yeah, I'm quite happy with the way that colouring is, I don't add any more ink to my blending tool. In fact, I'm going to rotate it. So this is the end that I used to apply the ink here. This is the end that I've used on other projects. And all I'm going to do now is just go over the centre, just to give it a fainter colour than the outside. And you put your Distress ink away. Okay, you can now remove your tape. Don't throw it away, you can reuse it. Like so, okay. And then you're just going to pop your die off. Be careful how you're doing it, it depends how intricate your die is. Now, as you can see, I've actually gone over on the edge. I'm actually not bothered, because I think actually it looks quite good. Okay, now don't forget to pop your bits out of your dies so it's ready for the next use. Just do this quickly. There we go. Now, I don't throw any of these little bits away. I actually keep them. I'll just take that bit off if I can pull it out. Right. Okay, I don't throw these bits away, I just gather them up and I actually pop them into a little pot. And see, as you can see here, I've got other ones that I've used from other projects, and I do use them. Right, so once you have this, you're going to now fold on them 2 score lines that you did, and then crease it with your bone folder, and then you're going to fold it back and you're going to crease it again. Now, as you can see, I've got hang off on mine, but I've done that purposely because I want to show this side off more than I do this side. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm just going to trim off that edge. Now, I'm not going to go all the way up to the end of where the die was, but as close as I can. Okay, so there we have it, like so. So it opens up and it looks like that. Now, I've got a lot of this card already prepped and ready to go. So what I've actually done is, here I've got some red cardstock, and it's quite a thin weight because I have got the weight of the card. And all I've done is I've run it through my Cuttlebug. So I'm just going to get the glue. Now, I'm actually off work at the moment due to holidays. Yay! And I've been making a lot of cards, so I've actually run out of my photo glue. So I was rummaging in my drawer and I came across this Yoo-hoo. And it is an all-purpose glue, cardstock, paper, this, that and the other. So I thought I'd give it a go. Now, I used it on a card yesterday, and I've come to look at it this morning, and the glue's not shown through, and it's not all falling apart. So yeah, until I can get to go and buy some photo glue, I'm going to be using my Yoo-Hoo glue for the moment. Okay, so I've now glued that in place, like so. Now what you're going to do is you're going to turn your card as if it was open. And all I've done here is I've die cutted another one of the shapes that I used on the front, but this time just cut the whole thing out, and I've inked it with my distressing ink. And what you're going to do is going to turn it so the wrong side's down, and you're going to line it up with your piece on the back. Get some glue. Let's put my glue on here, like this. Okay, all the way around, up, round, 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 round. There we go. Okay, again, make sure that it is lined up, and then what you're going to do is you're going to close your card. Get hold of it, like so, and you're going to rub that into place. So now when your card's closed, you can't see that there's anything there, but when it's open, you can see the panel where you can write whatever you like. Okay, now before I go any further, I've got here stamping block with happy birthday on it, and again I'm going to use my distressing inks, because yes, you can stamp with your distressing ink. So I'm just going to apply that to the middle there, like so. I'll clean that after. Okay, so now we're on for decorating it. Okay, so what I have here is, like I said before, is I have the Spellbinders new Bitty Blossoms. I don't think I have a card around, but I have got the die. Let me just this for you. If you have the Spiral Blossoms or any one of the Blossom dies by Spellbinders, you will see that it is quite big. Now, if I just get the die that I made these ones with, you can actually see the difference in size. It's quite smaller. In fact, it's not quite smaller, it's a lot smaller, but does exactly the same effect. So I'm using 2 of the medium size, which are there. I've got some foliage, and what I've got here is I've got one of the largest ones. And again, even if you look at that compared to the Blossom dies, it's still smaller. So yeah, if you want to make small flowers, then the Bitty Blossoms are ideal. Now, I know everybody's going to look at me now and they're going to say, why is she doing that? Because you can't see it. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get my distress ink, my warm lipstick again, and I'm actually just going to go over it. Now you're going to say to yourselves, why is she doing that over red cardstock? You're not going to be able to see it. But if I just stop what I'm doing and I bring the leaves in, you can actually see that you can just about see it. And it just wanted to give it a little bit of a shadow effect. So, yeah, I'm going to just ink this up. Like so. There we go. Right. Now, for those who haven't used the itty bitty flowers or the Blossom dies or any of the die flowers from Spellbinders, I'm going to show you how to use them. Once it's in there, you can't get to it. So what I tend to do is I use a pokey tool or anything like that, and I just push down on the first few, lifting it up, and then I just put my tool in and carefully just go around, going from the bottom up to the top until the whole entire lot pops out, like so. Okay, to put these flowers together, I actually use a quilling tool. And what I do is I always start from the outside edge, because this circle in the middle is where you're going to glue your flower. So I'm going to place it onto my quilling tool and just roll. I'm going to keep rolling and keep rolling all the way around. Get so far, you can take it off and then continue to roll with your hands. Like so. And then once you get to the end, I always fold up that bit and then I let go of it. And then all you're going to do is then get some glue, whatever glue you like. Like I said, I'm using my Yoo-Hoo. I do try and use a lot of hot glue as well. Some glue in the middle, and then you're just going to hold it until the glue takes hold. Okay, so there's now our flower stuck. I'm going to bring our card back in. Okay, now what I have is I have some red ribbon. I'm just going to make a bow. Okay, I'm going to trim off my tails. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a dry run of where I think the leaves and the flowers will be. Like that, and I think I'm going to have the bow in that corner, so yeah, I like the way that is. So I'm going to get my glue. Try and remember roughly where they go. Let's put some glue on the bottom two leaves, like so. Make sure they don't hang over the bottom of the card, because otherwise the card won't stand up. On the sides, okay. There we go. We're going to have the big one. Just there. And the two smaller ones. There. And the bow. We have just on this top corner. And there we have it. There's our card. Let's string a bit of the glue. You have to wait till your glue has dried. But there we have it. There's our card. And I've got one here. The same die has been used and foliage and everything. Only this is done in a yellow, and I've actually used the marmalade one. Is it warm marmalade or spicy marmalade? Distressing ink on that one. And that one. So there's them two. And there's them too. So yeah, there we have it. There's our card. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon.